hope that you are well. I hope that you are blessed. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, ne? Eh? Let me just check quickly. Currently Wednesday, Tuesday. This year has went by very quickly. Honestly, it has went by very quickly. We are in October now, going into November, and it'll be December soon. It's unfortunate that, you know, we are taught to be excited for December. Every one of us gets so excited that December is coming. We're gonna be free. But then if you pay attention, we get excited for bonuses in December, which last us for a week, right? Let's be honest. Most of us don't invest, we just spend in December. Most of us don't save, we spend in December. And in January, we are worried about groceries, we are worried about stationery, we are worried about 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because that's how we are taught to think, in December, we just rush and spend money, and then we are broke. So I guess today's quick topic is about that. I wanna start having these quick topics. Maybe I will have them also when I'm driving or whenever and wherever. I'll just have a quick topic with you guys so that we can be able to remember what is the point. We need to be able to remember what is the point. Guys, most of us, we come from townships. Most of us come from hard backgrounds, right? And unfortunately, when we start making money, we forget that we come from hard backgrounds. And we start squandering or overspending the money that we have. I can tell you right now, most of you who are working don't know how much you earn. I can tell you right now, because they told you at work that you'll be earning 20,000. That's not how much you are earning. There are tax deductions that are taking place, medical expenses that are taking place, and so forth. So most of you don't really know how much you are earning, right? But we get so excited for December, and we don't invest these bonuses that we get. We don't save these bonuses that we get. We don't. We just spend it and it goes away. And at the end of the day, we are frustrated because in January, we don't have groceries. In January, we don't have stationery for kids. In January, we don't have money for petrol. In January, we are just so stuck. So it's imperative for us to be able to learn how to budget. And in our budget, we need to be able to look into our way of investing. It's important. If we can just learn how to budget, then we'll be able to learn how to invest. Remember, the concept of saving and investing is used interchangeably. It's used interchangeably because these things are one and the same thing. It just depends on you that, when I'm saving, I'm putting it in an account where it's stagnant, or I'm putting in a certain account where it will get interest and it will grow just a bit. I'm going to invest it in a particular company where it will grow exponentially. So those are the things that you need to be able to ask yourself. And now you take those things that you have learned and you implement it in your budget. So, but when you get to your budget, you need to be able to know how much you earn. So many of us don't know how much you earn. So the first step to budgeting is know your monthly income. Know it by heart. Know it by heart that this is how much I'm earning, because that will save you from stroke. It will save you from heart attack. You will know you won't get in unnecessary debt, whether healthy or otherwise. You won't get in a unnecessary debt because you know how much you are earning, right? So you need to be able to write down exactly how much you earn each and every month. So the past 6 months, how much is it have you been earning? So this includes your side hustles, your every consistent cash flow into your pocket. So that will be able to help you. How much is it that you are making? And after that, you sit down and say, how much do I have to pay tax? Because now you have a total amount that you have, right? You have 20 grand that you have, but how much are you supposed to be able to pay tax? Because you have to know that the company will give you, the company you work for will give you the money that you worked for, right? And after they give it to you, tax has to take money. It's going to take money automatically and say, hey, this is my money. So after you know how much tax you're supposed to pay, you now sit down and say, how much are my expenses? If you don't want to have a heart attack in your life, if you don't want to have a stroke in your life, if you don't want to live under debt in your life, you need to know these two things. How much are you paying your tax? Yeah? And how much are your expenses? So now your expenses is inclusive of your pension fund. That is an expense, guys. That is an expense. It falls under investments, right? So it's your expense. So how much is your pension fund? How much are you supposed to contribute? And remember, sometimes some of your companies, they take that money as well and they put it aside for you, right? And tax takes that money and they put it, you pay tax. Sometimes they do it automatically, right? And now you know how much you have, and now you have to deal with the expenses that you are reliable of. Like, what am I talking about? I'm talking about your rent, your bond, your water, your electricity bill. You have to sit down and know how much that is. So your rent might be 2,000 to 8,000, maybe inclusive of bond or whatever. Then you sit down, how much is your electricity bill a month? Maybe it's about, maybe you are six in the household, maybe your electricity runs to about 1,000 plus. And how much is your water? How much is your transport for kids, transport for spouse, transport for yourself? How much is your data, your Wi-Fi? Some of us can't live without Wi-Fi. How much are all your expenses? Who do you owe? How much do you owe Ackermans? How much do you owe Jet? How much do you owe your car? How much is your petrol? All those things, right? And you put them down, and now you know how much you have. See, after you have dealt with your pension, your tax, your expenses, after you have dealt with all those things that you're supposed to pay, now you can sit down and say, okay, this is how much I have. Now, this is what I want to add on your budget. Add investments, right? Add investment. You can call it retirement, right? And you save money for yourself for your retirement. You can use your Frank app or Easy Equities and just choose particular ETFs whereby you can be able to put money into, right? So you say, no, I'm going to take 250, or you can use companies like Ellen Gray, like FNB or so forth, that will be able to help you with these things. So you give them 250. You tell yourself, I can afford 1,000. If you can, God bless, do it, right? Whatever you can afford, you put it towards your retirement. You put it for yourself. Doesn't matter how old you are. You might be 23, you just started your first job, or you might be 35, you've been working, or you just started, or you are 40. You put money aside for yourself when you retire, because what you need to be able to remember is that when you clock 60 years old, no one is going to hire you for anything, whether it's cleaning, whether it's driving, they're not going to hire you, right? So you need to be able to put money aside for yourself and invest it. When you get to 60, you take that money, you invest it. You don't take it out and build a house. No, you take it and you invest it, and you get that tiny bit amount of money that you will be getting as dividends, and you live with it until you die, right? And when you die, you leave all that money to children or your children's children. You can choose. That's what we call generational. But if you want to spend your money, you can spend it when you get to retirement, right? But be wise about it, right? So another thing we need to be able to look into, investments. If you can add investment and say that in my expenses I'm adding investments so that I can be able to put money aside for myself, then you will be on a good platform. You'll be able to grow so that you can be able, should anything happen, you know that you can be able to afford your life after retirement. You have money that the company has been putting aside for you or investing for you, and you have money that you have invested for yourself. Then after that, you are able to continue on building your own personal life. Maybe you can start a business. Maybe you can buy a truck and drive around and help people with transportation or whatsoever. It's up to you, right? Another thing, after you know your expenses and all that, that's the salary that you are able, let's say you are left with 10 grand, or after expenses and tax and everything, you are left with 10 grand or 5 grand. That means that's how much you have, right? From there, you can sit down and say to yourself, I don't have money. I don't have money, because that's you look at the money that you have. You say, okay, I'm left with 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever after expenses and everything. This means, William, with the money that you have, this 10,000 or 5,000, whatever, it means that you don't have money. This is what you need to be able to live with throughout the month. Remember, throughout the month, it's 30 days, 31 days, right? That means then you need to be real to yourself. In order for you not to get into debts and find yourself buying cars and all that, you need to, because a car would cost you 7,000 rand, a VW 8,000, right? That means that money is gone. Then after that, you pay for insurance. Insurance is going to come to you and say, hey, VW, give us 2,000 or 3,000. You don't have money. You broke. You can't even afford petrol. So you sit down and say, with the money I have, whether I have a car or not, or after all these expensive, this is all I have. This is my life. This 10,000 or this 5,000 that I have left. It's my life. Then you can decide from there that I'm going to live with this throughout the month, and whatever is left by the end of the month, I'm going to invest it, right? That is going to help you to be able to live a healthy life. Right. So in budgeting, these are the things that you need to be able to look into. I encourage you to watch this video again and be able to have understanding of what I'm saying. So now you need to be able to separate with that money that is left. Separate your wants, right? When it comes to groceries, when it comes to remember, this actually is part of groceries. When it comes to anything extra that you want to be able to do, maybe an extra, you want a phone or whatever, then you can sit down and say, do I need this phone or do I want this phone? Then you answer yourself from there, right? Then after that, you make a decision, and after that, you set a financial goal. With the money that I have left, what is it that I want to achieve? Do I want at the end of the month to have an extra 1,000 rand, or do I want to start a business or a side hustle with this money, or do I just want to put it in my investment account where it will grow by 7% annually? So set your financial goals. What is it that you want to be able to achieve? You want to grow in your your not expenses, your income. Your income, so that means you need to have a side hustle. So take that money, invest towards your side hustle, or take that money and invest it in a particular ETF and so forth, so you can be able to get more money, right? And also, like I spoke about expenses, now you need to be able to track your expenses, and you can use this by you can use apps like 22/7, or wallet, so those apps will be able to help you know how much is it that's coming out of your salary. And also apply the 50, 30, and 20 rule. So the 50% is the needs, the 50% of your salary is the needs, the 30% is the wants, and the 20% is the savings and investments, right? So that is important. If you can apply the 50, 30, and 20 rule, that will be able to help you. 50% is the needs, 30% is the wants, and 20% is the savings and investment. But from my perspective, right, I would say that you need to be able to look at this. Remember, we spoke about expenses. You already paid your expenses, right? So you are left with a particular amount of money, right? So that money is the money that you live with the next 30 days, right? So now from that money, you need to separate. Let's say you are left with 5,000. 50% of that 5,000 needs to go to the needs, right? And 30% needs to go to the wants. And 30% to the wants and 20% to the savings and investment. That'll be able to help you, right? Maybe in investments, you will open up a business or so forth, right? And also remember, from that money, you need to be able to pay yourself. You need to be able to have money for food when you are at work. You need to be able to have money to take your wife out or your spouse out. You need to be able to have money to buy KFC at home. So that might, if you want, you can let it fall under expenses, but then that is part of that money that I was talking about. And so you can start now learning more about investing and review and also adjust your finances monthly. And another thing, remember to always apply for a new post within your workspace that gives you a higher salary from where you are, right? Because that'll help you for growth purposes, if not in your company, outside of your company, so that you can be able to grow with your finances. And also lastly, we forget about this, guys. You need to build an emergency fund. You need to build an emergency fund, whether for health purposes in your home. I know some of you have medical aid, but whether for health purposes, medical aid, but have another amount of money put aside. And secondly, whether for your car, when you have an accident or something has happened, put that money aside. Or for your house, you can choose that every month I'm going to put 500 rand or 1,000 rand for these things, right? And you separate it into different accounts, maybe 333, so that you can be able to have an emergency fund for particular things within your household. It is imperative. So guys, what you call this, budgeting is everything. My wife and I are still learning about it. We are struggling sometimes. We struggle sometimes, and we face our challenges when it comes to budgeting. But we try. My wife is very good when it comes to finances. I thank God for it sometimes. Not always. Sometimes, because sometimes she chows that money. Sometimes it's like, we are going to chow, which is good. Sometimes it's good for you to be able to enjoy your salary, right? Your household salary. It's good. But at the same time, you need to be able to be wise about it, right? You need to be wise about it. So it's imperative for you to work on your budgeting skills. It's imperative for you to work on your knowledge of saving and investing. It's important for you to have a budget for your household salary. There is no salary for husband or boyfriend, and there's no salary for girlfriend or wife. There's one salary. When we are married, what I'm working, what I'm getting from my company, and what my wife is getting from my job, this is ours. It doesn't matter how much the other person is earning. This is ours. Then we create a budget from that. We can save from our budget as part of our expenses that husband's supposed to get 2,000 to do whatever, and wife 2,000 to do whatever. But at the end of the day, the salaries, they come together. And what I like about our parents is that our parents used to have a joint account. I don't think we have them today. Correct me if I'm wrong on the comments. I don't think we have joint accounts today. Joint accounts, salaries used to come into the same account, and they would sit down and they would write down the budget to say that this is how we're going to spend this money, right? So it's imperative for us to be able to have that. So I encourage you to work on the budgeting skills. Please watch this video again. Go on YouTube and search for videos that will help you with budget. Go on ChatGPT and give them your salary and your expenses and everything, and say, create for me a budget that includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and ChatGPT will create everything for you and help you. So it's imperative for you to be able to look into that so that you can be able to grow in your finances. Guys, my battery is low. You don't want to buy me a phone. Buy me a phone, Oga. Buy me a phone. I need a new phone. If you guys buy me a phone, I will do these videos all day long. So guys, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and comment down below. Share this video with your friends, families, and whoever needs this information so that we can be able to grow together. I too am going to watch this video, and I'm going to read my notes again because I was working on them and doing research, and I found good. Hey, I'm still learning and we are still growing. So thank you so much for joining me. Join me again next time. I don't know if it's tomorrow or later, or I don't know, but we try our best. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.